Hi, I'm Ben Pearson, former Channel 5 Police Interceptor, and this video is going to be about the UK's best police pursuit vehicles. So stick with us, it's going to be a good one. So if you're looking to Google this list, do not Google this list. It does not exist. It only exists in my mind. These vehicles what I've either driven in a pursuit, used myself, or driven on a day-to-day basis around the local area, and I know what they're like. These are either friends' vehicles or vehicles that have been lent to me by other people. So let's get into it. This is a Top of the Cops. Coming in at number 10 is everyone's favourite Ford, the Ford Capri 2.8 V6 injection. This little baby is a fantastic car in its day. We're talking mid to late 80s. No, we're talking before that. Early 80s, mid 80s. It's coming in about 160 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 is about 8.9 seconds with a top speed of about 130 miles an hour. It's a two-door car, so you're going to struggle getting a shit bag in the back. But when you're looking at a car that's 150, 160 brake horsepower, in its day when cars were roughly in 80 to 90 brake horsepower, this were a super machine on the road at the time. It's rear-wheel drive, it's fast, it goes through the gears fantastically. My family have owned loads of Capris. We loved them a bit. The only thing that was a bad point was that your gear stick were about 4 foot long. I don't know if that's not 4 foot long. And you never saw past the end of the bonnet. They're built like a brick shithouse or some other outside poo hole, and just a great vehicle. They're still going today, and if you're looking for a good Brooklands, you're probably looking at best side of £30,000. So coming in at number 10, it's the Ford Capri 2.8 V6. Brilliant car. Coming in at 9 is the Vauxhall Vectra 2.5 litre V6. These were normally used as an SRI in Civvy Street, but when we got hold of these vehicles, they were fantastic in a pursuit, absolutely brilliant. I've had one of these as my patrol car at work, and I think it's awesome. 0 to 60 is in the 7 seconds branch. You're looking about 180, 190 brake horsepower, top speed of 140 miles an hour. These are 4-door. These are an absolutely fantastic car to drive. They sound brilliant, and in a pursuit, there was not a lot that you couldn't get past or couldn't keep up with. And even in, I can't remember what ours were. I think ours were a 53 plate, and it were brilliant. Big alloys on, it were low suspension, it went over tank traps, speed bumps really well. It handled brilliantly, and it were like a proper drag car. These cars were good in the day, they're still good now, and if I could get my hands on one, I would do. So coming in at number 9 is a Vauxhall Vectra 2.5 V6. Coming in at number 8 on the list, is the Ford Sierra 4x4 2.9 injection V6. These are a 4-wheel drive Sierra. The grunt on these, my friend Jai used to have one. The grunt on these are absolutely fantastic. The only downside is they sucked fuel left, right and centre. Again, 150 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 is about 8 seconds, and went on to around 135 miles an hour. The cars themselves, you could put them through a wall sideways and they'd come out unscathed. These cars had a good stance on the road. People liked it. People liked seeing what they're about. And in the 80s, everyone says a traffic cop had to drive a Ford Sierra. So coming in at number 8 is the Ford Sierra, made famous by PC Cole from the bill. Graham Cole, PC Stamp, one of them. It was the traffic cop in the bill. Coming in at number 7 on the list, everyone's favourite Skoda, the Octavia VRS. 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, top speed of 145 miles an hour, and 245 brake horsepower. Again, DSG on these, absolutely fantastic. It's basically a Golf engine, or it's what's in the Audi. They're all exactly the same cars nowadays, same chassis, all made in the same company, same building by the same person. In fact, everyone in the world can quit because this person just makes all the cars. Skoda Octavia, a good fast car, comfortable, you can take your family with you. Awesome in a pursuit. Again, my friends had a Skoda Octavia VRS, absolutely brilliant to drive. I loved it, great technology, awesome reliability, and it's got a good stance on the roads as a traffic car. So coming in at number 7 is the Skoda Octavia VRS. At number 6 on our pop pickers list is the BMW 330/335. These are anywhere from 275 brake horsepower to 335 brake horsepower, and 0-60 is around 4 seconds up to 5.5 with a top speed of 155. We believe. I'm not saying I've had mine faster, but I might have done. But I'm not telling you that. But I might have done. But I'm not telling you that either. These cars are a good pursuit vehicle, rear-wheel drive, and are common as muck on the road as a police car. The only downside is to these, if they are reverse rammed, they've got a weak front end, a weak radiator, and they completely piss out fluid all over the floor. You've got 10 seconds before your vehicle gives up the ghost. If you've got balls of steel, you can then ram the suspect vehicle off the road and bring it to bed as quickly as possible. But you've got 10 seconds leeway. That's all you will have before these cars pack up. The amount of pursuits I've had in these are brilliant. Only downside is they don't like speed bumps. So pursuing in a 330, don't go near speed bumps at all, ever. Before we get into this video, I want you to click subscribe, I want you to click the bell icon, and I want you to follow, share, and do everything you can so you get the latest notifications when we release a video. Coming in at number 5 is the Subaru Impreza STI. This 2-litre power plant and 4-wheel drive goes from 0-60 in 4.4 seconds with a top speed of roughly 150 miles an hour, and it's anywhere from 270 brake horsepower plus. These pursuit vehicles are around North Yorkshire and been around Essex for years. They're an ultimate pursuit vehicle. As you know, they come from Colin McRae and rally cars, so that's where their heritage is. The amount of times we've been in pursuits with these through North Yorkshire has been brilliant. They're handled fantastically. Again, my friends had one. I love driving it. It's an awesome car. Again, it subs fuel left, right and centre, but it sounds brilliant like this. That's me sounding like a Subaru. One more downside is a Subaru. They're made out of matchstick paper. They don't hold together very well, and if you're in contact with something, wings fly off, bonnets fly off, and doors crumple. They're not a strong car to be had in a T-Pack. So yeah, I wouldn't like to T-Pack in one of these myself, but driving experience is fantastic. At number 5 on the top of the cops chart is the Subaru STI. And at number 4 is my all-time favourite car. If I was a multi-millionaire, I would have 100 of these parked up. This is my dream car as a child, and I loved it. I still love it, and I think there's nothing like it on the road. It's the Ford Escort Cosworth 4-wheel drive. This little baby is only 227 brake horsepower, but it weighs as much as my toothbrush. It goes from 0-60 in 5 seconds and a top speed of 150 miles an hour. Again, I've driven one of these. I've been in one as a passenger. I think these cars are absolutely awesome. They are sex on wheels. I'm not saying I would do it, but if I could make love to a vehicle, it would be the Escort Cosworth. Would I be big spoon or little spoon? I don't know that yet. I'd have to think about that. If one of these got behind me in the late 80s and early 90s, I would absolutely shit my pants. These cars are born rally cars. They're a fast Ford. They look awesome. They sound awesome. And they're awesome to drive. So number 4 on my list is God's gift to cars. It's the Ford Escort Cosworth. Don't change, baby. We love you. And if anyone's got a Ford Escort Cosworth they want to lend me, give me a shout right now. My email address is attached, and I'll take it off you for a couple of days and do a bit of a video. Please. Coming in at number 3 on the top of the cops chart, it's my favourite, Christine. The love of my life, my little baby, my VXR. YJ58 TXW. She's been with me through thick and thin. She's been with me through T-Packs, rammings, the fastest pursuits. She's always stuck with me. There's nothing we couldn't catch on the road. 2.8 turbo. I'm going to say single turbo because people don't like me saying twin turbo, even though it's a twin scroll turbo, but that's all for you anal people out there that don't like our talk. These are roughly about 270 brake horsepower, not 60 in 5.5 seconds, and they will go on over 160 miles an hour, pushing 170 miles an hour. These vehicles are so strong and so powerful they would take out a locomotive. They just pulled and pulled and pulled, and third gear went from nothing up to over 100 miles an hour. They were brilliant cars and still are to this day. I love them completely. Coming in at number 2, everyone's favourite traffic car is the Volvo T5 850 or V70. These were a 260 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and went on to over 150 miles an hour. These vehicles in their day were the gods on the road. There were nothing, and I mean nothing, that these vehicles wouldn't pursue. Every time a shitbag saw them, they would panic. I used to get these behind me when I were off shooting. I would panic like hell as well. The stance they had on the road were like Beelzebub's own set of wheels himself. It was like the devil would directly behind you. You could go nose to nose with a Comet in one of these and the Comet would break up and the Volvo would be unscathed. That's how good they were. So coming in at number 2 is the Volvo T5. Coming in at number 1 is the Mitsubishi Evo FQ 360. That's right, people, I've said it. It's a Mitsubishi Evo 360. They're called 360 because ironically it has 360 brake horsepower, 4-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds, and a blistering top speed of 150 miles an hour. These cars are what I would describe as God's gift to vehicles. These cars are what I would describe as when Jesus was being born, there were one outside of him in the crib in Bethlehem. I've never been in a car that handled and stuck to the road like this. These vehicles were and are still amazing, and as a pursuit vehicle, I've always wanted one of these. Unfortunately, I never got to drive one in the pursuit, so if any traffic cops are out there and have driven in the pursuit, please leave the comments down below and let me know how it handled. But apart from that, these vehicles are brilliant to drive, absolutely hoot behind the wheel, and all I can describe it is a pit bull on steroids. I don't know if you've ever stood behind one, but the 360 FQ, when it's revved, makes you go... I'm just a bit sad that I never got to drive some of these cars in a pursuit. I would have loved to have done that. Again, these are all in my versions. Please look, see what you think, put some comments down below. I want you to all lay down and show mercy for the Mitsubishi 360 FQ. God, I love you. Thank you for watching Top of the Cops. Next week, there's another one, and it's going to be the most pursued vehicles in West Yorkshire from 2001 to 2020. See you then.